Welcome back, dear ones, to the February 2023 update. Things are breaking down at the moment, all around us. And you may even experience this within yourself. A lot of people are experiencing breakdowns, literally, internal breakdowns right now, because one part of it, because it's stimulated and kind of partly caused by what's going on around them, and because also they're in a process of transformation and of change, and they're not exactly sure how to deal with it. So there are breakdowns happening on the outside and on the inside. And this may become even stronger during the next few weeks and months. But the thing is that without old, negative, unhelpful stuff breaking down, nothing new can flourish, can come up. So if we see the necessity for old stuff to break down, even if it's scary, and even if we don't know yet exactly how the new world, the new systems, the new arrangements are going to come about, if we can kind of trust that we will create it, and if we can also accept our role in creating it, then we can move towards hope and not so much stuckness in this breakdown mode and in this feeling lost and feeling desperate and hopeless. So even though the world seems to break down right now, if we can look at, well, how do I want to be while this is happening? I feel powerless, and this feeling of powerless, many people have that at the moment. And this is not for no reason. It is actually a feeling, that is my take on this, that is intended by some forces, because when we feel powerless, we're not inclined to act or to do anything or to stand up. Right? We feel powerless, and we're just kind of like going into protection mode, as in, please, I'm small, I'm weak, don't hurt me, don't do anything. But I'm not actually going out there to stop anything or to change anything. So if you feel powerless, notice whether or not this is in alignment with you. Do you want to feel powerless? I know all of you are possibly going to say no. Okay, but you do. So no resistance to how you feel. Right? Because that's the other thing. As soon as you have a resistance towards feeling powerless, you're only increasing that type of feeling. So if you feel powerless right now, first of all, accept it. Okay, this is how I feel. I feel powerless. I feel small. I feel desperate. Okay, and maybe you feel angry and hostile towards the world or politicians or what's going on. That's okay. So for now, you accept this within yourself. Okay, that's how I feel. And I have these and these reasons in my story that are the justification for the way I feel. Okay, so far this is how I felt. But now I get to choose. Do I want to feel like this today again and tomorrow again? Or do I actually want to change my feelings? Do I want to change the state I'm in? Because this is what we can do. We can change this. We can accept that other people or situations or circumstances or what's going on in the world can dictate how we feel, or we can actually know that we don't have to take anybody as a reason why we feel a certain way. This is actually up to us. What and who we allow to influence our state of being, our state of feeling. And by realizing that, we're taking back our power. And this is what all of this is about anyway, what's going on in the world. Remembering that we have all the power already, because we are all powerful, we are almighty, we're part of source energy, we're consciousness, we're untouchable, we're infinite, limitless. We are energy, we are love, we are light. Remembering that in the greater scheme of things, what's happening, and then deciding, do I allow lower frequencies? Do I allow shady energies and characters to bring me down in my vibration and in the way I feel about myself, in making me feel like I have no power at all. They have all the power and there's nothing I can do. Is this really how I want to live my life day to day? Or do I want to remember who I am and then living who I am as who and what I truly am? This limitless creator energy, light. We're light beings. We're love. We are freedom. We are freedom. We're limitless. But as long as we're caught up in those stories day in, day out that our minds are playing all the time, like a broken record, these stories that make us feel like there's nothing we can do, we're totally lost, we have no idea where we're going, maybe in our private lives, maybe in the public life. And that's a story we hear ourselves saying all day long, then this is what we live. So the invitation now is to actually decide, am I giving my power away to situations, people, politicians, other countries, whoever else is doing things, and then I actually allow them to dictate as who I'm going to live or who I'm going to live as? Or do I say, I decide who I'm going to live as, what I'm going to represent, what I'm going to experience each day, how I'm going to embody me being freedom, me being light, me being love, me being limitless, me being powerful, all powerful. And if this is what we decide, it's up to us then to decide as well how we interact with the outside world. We will no longer allow the outside world, whoever it is, in your direct environment, in your relationships, or out there in the political world, we will no longer allow them to dictate the relationship we're supposed to have with them, as in they tell us what to do, they tell us how to feel, and so on. We decide the type of relationship we have with them. We decide that I have no attachments to you whatsoever. You cannot dictate how I feel or what I should do. I tell myself, I know myself what I want to live, how I want to live, what I want to embody each day more and more. And by me being me, meaning consciousness, being awareness, being love, being wisdom, I see where you're at. So as soon as we move into that state of being, we become free. Free as well from our ego judgment, because the ego judges. It judges the world out there is bad, these decisions are bad, this is bad, and this is why I feel this way, and why we're all miserable, and that's what the ego does. But consciousness, like your higher self, you as wisdom, you know exactly why people decide what they decide, why people act the way they do, why there is war instead of peace. You see it and you know it because you see where their consciousness is at. They're only acting out their level of consciousness. That's all it is. The action is just a reflection of their consciousness. And in your wisdom, you can see this, and there's no judgment. It's only like, this is how it is. And they can't even do it any other way right now because that's just the level of consciousness. It's like a 5-year-old cannot act and know and do what a 45-year-old does and knows and acts. It's not possible because that's the state they're in. And there's no judgment. They're just 5. That's just where they're at. And so instead of judging them, you will just say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Let's forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they don't. They cannot see beyond their current level of awareness, of consciousness, of development. And there's no judgment. Everybody is where they're at. And maybe as well, they have certain aspects that they still need to live out and experience on this planet. But it doesn't have to affect you the way it has been maybe up until now, because you've given your power to unconscious people and have allowed their level of consciousness to dictate your way of living each day. Instead, you come back to your consciousness and make this your priority. And from your consciousness and your desire to develop it more and to embody your true state of being, your true self more and more, by doing that, you will also see what's going on with that light of consciousness, with that wisdom. And you will be able to not judge, but also to be a lot more powerful in the way you live. You put forward your own power, and you will be a lot more resistant to outside forces dictating how you should feel or what you should live. It takes practice to do that, for most people anyway. But that's a decision we can make. So it's up to you. So as soon as you have excuses, I can't do it because, or this is too difficult, or it's easy for us to say if we're not in those situations, they're just excuses. Wherever you are right now, that's where you can live your state of consciousness, explore it, expand it, and then embody it. So if you want a more loving world, become love today. If you want a more wise world, peaceful world, connected world, joyful world, be all of that in your life today. And by you doing that, and by everybody who has the ability to do it and the desire to explore that type of consciousness, that level, we are lighting up the world with the light of consciousness. So, but only by doing this, each individual, one at a time, will the consciousness of the planet change. It's not like something out there is going to change and whoop, all of a sudden we're transformed. Because each journey is our journey and we have free will. What do we want to live? So we get to choose, do we want to give our power away or not? It's a choice, and it's a perfectly fine choice. We can give our power away for many, many lifetimes if we choose so, and experience what that's like. And some people still actually want that type of experience. Now, maybe not from a 3D human level here, but from their soul's perspective. So they're the ones who are in maybe conflict areas where they're suppressed, where they feel very much so the outside forces enclosing them and suppressing them. And this is maybe what they still need to experience. But wherever you are right now, you're not at the wrong place, because you're not in the midst of trouble or despair or war or conflict. Wherever you are right now is where you are right now to be what you truly are. Be the limitless, powerful, almighty, loving being that you are, and expand this energy out, this consciousness out into your daily life, into each word you share with somebody, into every relationship you have, not just with humans, with your environment, with your country, with your objects, with your routines, all that you're in relationship and interaction with. Put yourself, how you truly are and want to be, into that. And let the world experience that level of consciousness, unity consciousness, in action, in embodiment. Free from judgment, because it's all perfect. It all has a wonderful, beautiful perfection in it, the whole system, no matter what each human right now chooses to live or seemingly is forced to live. There is a perfection in this system, and if we can see this, we can also exhale and relax into this. We can release the resistance. And yesterday I was flying and I saw the sunrise from above the clouds, and I just realized that all those little houses and all those people down there, like, you don't see the people from the airplane, but you see the houses, and they are tiny. And you know, because you've been down there, what's going on. You know how it feels to have your mind play a record and talk all day long. And this is what the minds of all these billions and billions of people do all day long. They all play their internal stories all the time. From above, you don't hear it and you don't see it. It's so peaceful. And above the clouds, you have blue skies and you have the sunlight. It is so beautiful, so peaceful, so expansive. Even if down there are snowstorms and different things, you don't experience it up there. And you know it's going on down there. And you also know you're connected to it because you've experienced it, right? And you will experience it once you land. But there is a bird's eye view from above that's kind of the image I want to give you for if you focus on up-leveling your consciousness. This is what it is. You all of a sudden get the perspective of it all. And yeah, you can still choose to dive into it and dabble in the mud and, deal with all the drama and allow for other people, for the dramatic situations, for the restricting emotions to enter your living room because you turn on your telly or because you look at your phone wherever you are in one of these little houses and you allow outside forces to program you. Yes, you can still do that. You can still experience that. But if you are aware of who you are and what you are, you can choose your level of consciousness. You can choose whether you want to take the bird's eye view and understand it all perfectly and feel the peace you are and the love you are and the expansiveness, who you are, and then bring that into your embodiment down there, or you can choose to be in the middle of it and be totally chased around all the time, in fear, in despair, in confusion, not knowing where to turn to because everything is breaking down or seems to break down. And then out of this sensation of I can take a bird's eye view, you also know there is hope. There is a wonderful system there. And in every breakdown of old systems, of old stuff that's no longer part of us that needs to leave, there lies the seed for what we want to create anew. And that's the other part of it. It's us, human beings, you, me, and everyone else, who is creating the new. So again, don't give your power away and say, well, let's see what they create next. No, it's what you create next. The experience you and I, what we are creating, and every single one, that is what will be next. So let's develop and actively create what we do want. What we want to experience, but first we need to become it. First we need to be it. We need to be peaceful in our lives, within ourselves, if we want to experience peace out there. If we cannot be peaceful inside, if there's always this turmoil because we're struggling with the outside world, how do you expect peace to be in the outside world if there's a war within you of ideas, of thoughts, of resistance, but they're doing this and that? That's not how it's going to work. First, it's about creating the peace within us from the bird's eye view, because there's peace up there. As soon as you get into your consciousness level of who you are, truly are, there is peace there. And then bring this peace into the human and allow this to transform your day and to be expressed through you in your interactions, in your words, with what you share with people, with objects, with everything. How you then engage with the world. And that's on your terms. So let your terms and conditions be those of peace and freedom. Let everybody have their own freedom too. And love, unconditional love. Not I love you if you do this, but I love you. Why? Because I am love. And I want nothing more than to be love and to express my true self. That's what I want. That's why I love you. Not because you do this, that, and the other. Just because I am love. So I want to share who I am. That's why I love. End of story. Unconditionally. Unconditionally. So embodying it being it, becoming it. Okay, I'm going to leave you into February with this message. I'm going to love you and leave you for today. And we'll talk again next time, dear ones, if you want to.